Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing preference shares for companies in Thailand. And to quote a recent comment on our channel, quoting directly, Ben, suggestion for next video about incorporation. Talk about, quote, preferred shares, unquote, and the Thai setup to that effect, which hardly any consultants/accountants seem to know anything about. It doesn't really surprise me. Quoting further, pun intended about knowing nothing. This person was quoting on one of our videos we made regarding the Socrates quote, the only true wisdom comes in knowing you know nothing. But the issue of preferred shares, yeah, it doesn't really surprise me. Accountants, consultants aren't going to be real hip to that. Let me be clear, I'm not a Thai attorney. We have Thai attorneys here on staff. I'm an American attorney. I'm a naturalized Thai citizen. I'm the managing director of the firm. Our Thai attorneys handle all matters pertaining to Thai legal issues. That being stated, I oftentimes act in a capacity as a liaison with our foreign clients in order to provide some nuance. And with respect to, especially in the context of the U.S.-Thai Treaty of Amity, act in my capacity as an American attorney with respect to incorporation issues and certification issues with respect to the treaty. Back to preference shares. What are they? Well, preference shares it's kind of a ubiquitous term. Kind of a broad term, but long story short, it means that you may have different shares in the company, different classifications. So you may have Class A shares, Class B shares, if you will. And Class A may have disproportionate dividend rights or disproportionate voting rights, for example. Now, I don't make a lot of videos on this, and I don't go into it very often. We've made other videos on this channel. You can look it up on the search function, preferred shares or preference shares. I don't make a lot of videos on this. I know a lot of people out there, in the past at least, they talk about preferred shares like it's some kind of magic bullet. They have their uses, and in limited circumstances, preference share companies can be very useful for foreign nationals as well as Thai nationals, or in circumstances where different parties have different things they want to gain out of a business enterprise. So for example, some parties to a business enterprise, may want to get a guaranteed return. So they may set up preference shares in order to ensure that, while other parties may want more day-to-day control or more control over the board, for example. And preference shares can provide that differentiation with respect to control and profit. But long story short, they're not a magic bullet. It's not like some magical thing. And the other thing is, especially in the context of the Foreign Business Act, you need to be really careful. Use of preference shares needs to, for lack of a better term, pass the smell test, so that, it's not just completely clear that you've created some preference share company that's just entirely designed to subvert or circumvent the provisions of the Foreign Business Act. So again, there may be narrow circumstances where a preference share company is very useful, but you probably are best off talking to a legal professional, gain some insight and guidance into how best to proceed with such an incorporation, because there's a lot of nuance with respect to that topic.